Hello and welcome to the Australian Gamer Show. I'm Yug.
I'm Matt.
And tonight we're going to be talking about all the news from CES.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Microsoft's Game Room,
Super Street Fighter 4 extras.
some Splinter Cell co-op,
And as well as that, we're also going to be talking about how many people actually download DLC.
God of War 3 being rated.
And some little small venue that I'm sure no one's heard of called the Manor Bar. Thank you for joining us.
What the hell was that?
I don't know, I just wanted... we always do such a standard intro. I just thought...
Yeah, but we don't do it fucking stupid.
No, but maybe we should as
Maybe
well.
we
I was just trying something different. We're almost up to 200 podcasts now.
I know,
you realise?
that's a remarkable feat.
It's amazing, and there's been a lot of doubters out there that we'd ever reach this point as well.
It's easy to say. You're all like, oh, there's been so many doubters. I don't recall anyone saying you'll never do more than 180 podcasts. And if there was anyone who said, I don't think that you guys will be able to keep this up because you're useless and unreliable, it was us. So
yeah, that's probably a good
we're
point.
the doubters.
We
showed us.
we do have to keep these up now to a regular time schedule. As you might be aware, the podcast is now broadcast a day early on Thursday nights on netgameradio.com.
Which you know because you're hearing it there.
Well, maybe, or maybe
I know,
they've
but there's a couple of
downloaded it.
people.
Jesus, dude.
There's a couple of people that were, and they're like, wow, how did he know? I freaked them out.
Also, our not the entire podcast, but special Australian
Like
Gamer
that awesome
Show.
magic trick.
What?
There's a really good magic trick that you can do. You get someone. I've read this on XKCD. I'm not going to pretend I made it up.
Good.
Get someone to guess a number between 1 and 100.
50.
I'm not going to actually do it here because you need to write it down on paper. But basically, you write down a piece of
Paper.
a number on a piece
On a
of
number.
paper. You write down a number on a piece of paper, and then you ask them, and then you show them the number. Only you just write down a random number, and there's a 1 in 100 chance that you actually get it. But
Right.
if you do, you are going to blow their fucking mind. It doesn't work often.
No,
but, you know,
probably
1%
not. But
chance.
yeah, you'd run out of friends pretty quickly, I think. Or would you just start doing it on random strangers?
people walking down the street, pick a number, and you'd have this tattered piece of paper. It's 47.
You know what'd be impressive? Yeah, if you did something like that and you filmed it, and the one time you did it, you got on camera, and you would have everyone out there going, "Oh my god, how the hell did he do that?" There's no possible explanation for how that could happen. It's the magic of TV.
The Edwards method. What's his name?
Blake Edwards?
No, David Edwards. What's his name?
Some Edwards guy?
What was his name?
John Edwards.
John Edwards.
Oh, he's the guy that reads minds.
He's the psychic who talks to the dead. But
Same one.
enough.
Same
yeah.
thing.
Same bullshit. Different. Yeah.
But yeah, where were we?
Oh my god, we're so off topic.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, yeah, we're on Netgame Radio, but also up here in Brisbane, if you tune into radio station Triple Z on 102.1 FM. Oh God, I hope I got that right.
Yeah, that's
because it's either that's 102.1 is either Triple Z or the classical music station.
Nice.
It's one of the two. I'm going to have to rectify that pretty soon. But we're actually recording small segments for them to include in their geek pop culture show, the Android's Dungeon. Fuck, I should have prepared a lot more for this.
Yeah, nice.
That's
it's actually totally separate segments as well. We're not just cutting bits out of this.
Yeah.
We're doing new recordings and stuff.
Exactly.
Which are way better than this. So you should listen. Yeah, I think so.
They're a lot quicker. Because they're only 5-minute bite-sized portions.
You get them over with quicker, and I think we can all agree that's what this podcast needs.
There we go. Anyway, getting back to the topics at hand. Let's start with CES. This year it was huge. It blew E3 Tokyo Game Show, everything out of the water.
As far as gaming events, it is now the premier gaming event.
It is,
for the year.
I couldn't believe the amount of exclusive news and
new hardware announcements.
I know.
New software announcements.
It was amazing. I can't keep this.
No, not really. There was fuck all. It was really.
I remember a time when CES for games used to be a massive deal, especially around the time as I think the portables actually played a huge part in CSS a couple of years ago. The PSP and the DS and stuff. CSS.
Yes.
A couple of years ago and things like that. But 4ZZZ is 102.1. I did get it right.
Yes.
We have a fact checker on our
awesome.
podcast. Fuck, we're professional.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, there's just Microsoft and Sony did keynote speeches, and there are a couple of games on show.
Well, Sony always are a pretty strong presence at CES because they do so many things other than games.
Yeah.
And much of their keynote was devoted to, look, we have OLED TVs. If anyone's actually seen, they have an OLED TV that's available now, which is, I think it's like an 11-inch screen.
You know, I'm going to have to show some ignorance here.
Organic
OLED.
LED. It's the new thing that's going to replace.
It's a living LED.
Organic
Is
doesn't
it
mean
alive?
living. No, organic doesn't mean living.
Do you have to feed it?
Oh my fucking god. No, it's just a new technology it's better than LCD.
Does organic not mean alive?
Organic means made of carbon-based chemistry.
Right. Okay.
Which we are. We are.
Can you imagine that if you had a TV and if it started to actually break, you just had to feed it?
No, I can't imagine that because I'm not a retard. And apologies to any retards out there who were listening and thought, wow, that guy's stupid. And then I insulted them.
Yeah, good work.
But anyway, it's good, but it's a really expensive technology. It's quite usable for small screens. Like there's quite a few phones now that are starting to use them.
Sure.
But for bigger screens, it's just really like LCD used to be.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the kind of technology that probably in a couple of years' time will be a respectable price that will be accessible to a wider market.
Yeah, well, they brought out basically, I think it's an 11-inch TV or 12 or something inch TV, and it was, I think, 3,000 US.
Right.
Which.
Oh, that's really small.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's tiny. That's like your computer size.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So.
What's so good about it?
It's very, very crisp.
Uh-huh.
It's very, very bright.
Right.
Like the contrasts and stuff on it are vastly ahead of anything we're using for TVs now.
Right.
It's got extremely fast refresh rates and stuff, so it doesn't do any of the ghosty
just
things.
Curious, do things like Blu-ray, does that actually take advantage of this new technology, or are we going to have to upgrade to a new digital medium to actually?
You have no idea about this area, do you?
Probably not. No, not really.
It's not like you can Blu-ray. It doesn't just.
Well, no, it's like if you watch a DVD on a high-definition TV, the quality of the DVD doesn't actually match up with the technology that's actually on it. So I'm saying now that we're actually stepping ahead to a new kind of TV technology,
it's
whatever.
Not a new level of technology. It's no different in that, there's plasma and LCD, and now there's this, which is a bit better.
A bit better.
Yes.
Okay, a bit better just doesn't seem to justify the price at the moment for me.
No shit, so don't buy one.
I'm not.
It does for some people. Some people just want the latest and greatest. But impressively, they brought it out for $3,000 US, and then they released it recently in the UK just the other day.
Yeah.
For double that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
That's fantastic. Some of the other things that Sony were actually showing at the expo was they were really pushing the 3D side of things. Hot on the heels of Avatar, of course. Everyone 3D is the next in thing, and the 3D capable TVs. The interesting thing with Sony was, if I heard correctly, it's that they're going to enable 3D in games and certain movies and things like that. But via the PlayStation 3, it's actually going to be a software update.
Yeah. The PlayStation 3 will support Blu-ray 3D natively, which is really nice.
Yeah.
That's one good thing about the PlayStation 3 for Blu-ray is that it's so firmware upgradable so easily. Yeah,
that whole, where, when was it? When was the PS3 actually come out? Like 4 years ago? 3?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I remember back then thinking it's hugely expensive but it's future-proof. Well, it's actually starting to show that's
Well, it started
accurate.
to a little while ago. The Blu-ray format we're using now is actually, I think, Blu-ray 2.
All right.
Blu-ray 1 players can't play Blu-ray 2 discs, and so there were quite a few people who bought first-generation Blu-ray players who can't actually watch a lot of the DVDs that have come out, so a lot of the Blu-ray that have come out. But that hasn't happened to
good old Sony.
To PS3. Well, some Sony players as well, but the PS3 it just upgraded, so that's
cool.
Groovy.
Yep. Microsoft were also at the event, mainly just talking about titles that are coming out. One of the interesting things they did actually talk about was their Microsoft Game Room.
Yeah, now I'm unfamiliar with this, so you'll have to.
Right. Well, it's basically they're bringing the old school arcade games to a virtual environment where there's actually like the Galaga game is actually in a replicated Galaga arcade cabinet sort of thing. It sits in like a virtual room that you can actually create and move things around and put things wherever you want. But there's a couple of cool little features to it. For example, you walk into your room, there's all your arcade cabinets, you go over, you can play whatever game. It's emulated all properly, just like the original was. I do wonder if they emulate the glitches in those old games. I think that's a show of respect if they do replicate really bad glitches that were in the original titles. Some of the things are, it's all connected to everyone else's account above each arcade cabinet, you can actually see a red or green bar. If it's green, that means that you've actually got the highest gamer score on that game out of all your friends, and if it's red,
Right.
it actually shows that someone else is beating you. So
Interesting.
it's kind of a cool thing to be able to go into your room and see, right, those stats actually change. Go, fuck, I've got to beat him, sort of thing. It's free for Xbox Live Gold and Silver users, which is cool, but you do have to actually pay for the games themselves.
Really?
Yeah,
So you buy each game to fill your
that's right.
arcade room.
Now, initially, I mean, straight away off the bat, anytime you say, oh, you have to pay to play games that are, 30 fucking years old now or
Yeah.
something like that. Initially we're all like, oh, that's really bad. But I think it works out to about $3. And considering that, when you used to throw money into these arcade machines, I think $3 I think it's reasonable. But that's just me. What do you think?
Well, my issue is not with paying $3 for an arcade machine. My issue is with this whole fucking thing that sounds really stupid and uninteresting to me.
Why?
Why do I want a virtual room full of Gallagher's? For fuck's sake.
It's not full of Gallagher's. It'll be full of multiple different kinds of games.
Do you have a little avatar that walks
Yes.
through the thing? So it's home,
No.
but without anything except fucking arcade machines.
What? Because home's so fucking
No,
exciting at
home's
the moment.
shit, so don't do that.
At least this has arcade machines. I don't know.
Home does have arcade
Does
machines
it?
as well. It's actually quite hard to get on them because there's a lot of people using them, which is weird.
Whoa,
'cause
whoa,
it means
whoa.
there's a lot of people on home.
Hold on a second. You're telling me that in home you have to queue up to use the arcade machine?
Yeah, I don't know why you have to use.
Oh my god!
Well, no, you have to queue for the bowling or something. I don't use it, but
What fucking retard? Again, sorry if you're a retard out there listening to the podcast. Decided to actually put queues in a gaming console.
No,
Are you serious?
no, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about.
Well, then
Remember
why
how I
did you
just
say
said
that?
You're belaboring this point to such a ridiculous degree. My point
I just
is,
find the concept so stupid.
I
Anyway.
find the concept that they're taking a small sliver of home and doing it badly.
Doing it bad, and it has nothing to do with home.
Yes, it does. It's clearly the same thing.
It's
a customizable virtual space
yes,
with your own avatar.
yeah, but it's
It's
focused.
fucking home.
It's focused around these old school game consoles. Just pretend you don't have a PlayStation 3 for a second. Pretend you only have an Xbox
if
360.
I didn't have a PlayStation 3, the first thing I wouldn't want is home.
Whatever. Anyway, the point is you can actually play all these old school games. They'll have 30 at launch. They're going to release about 6 or 7 every week, and they say they're going to have like 1,000 eventually or whatever. But I don't know, for something that's free.
Except for the stuff you have to pay for, it's a free fucking room. You get a cube. Yay. So for something that's free, it isn't free.
All right, fine, whatever.
For something you pay for, it's $3 a fucking
All right,
game.
whatever. Don't get it then. Fine.
I'll get it on
Then
my
it's-
iPhone. If I want to play Rygar, I'll get it on my iPhone.
It's on the iPhone?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
hope so.
think it would.
Look into it. But
Okay.
some of the old games are.
I-
Paperboy is.
Seriously?
Yeah, just came out the other day.
Do you actually use your finger to flick the papers into the...
I don't know.
Because that would be cool. What shits me about these old games that get ported to the new iPhone is if they don't take advantage of the new interface. They just bolt on a transparent up, down, left, right arrow
My
thing.
guess is there'll be a transparent up, down, left, right.
Of course they will. Some of the other things, smaller announcements that came out of CSS. Like I said, I think the reason it was kind of quiet is there was nothing really new. There was no new game announcements. I think there may have been a MotoGP new announcement, but the only things that really interested me was Super Street Fighter 4. They showed some of the extra character costumes and finishing moves and things like that, and they just look fucking cool. You can get a Zangief one where he's actually this big metallic robot, which
Sweet.
yeah, I think it's awesome. I also watched a video for the Splinter Cell Conviction co-op campaigns, and this one I found interesting because they did a couple of things that I haven't seen before. In particular, I mean, if you know Splinter Cell, it's like a third-person stealth action
Yep.
game where you creep around as a super secret spy, Sam Fisher. In the co-op, you're not actually Sam Fisher. The co-op missions, there's 4 of them, and they're standalone. They say they'll take about 6 to 8 hours to complete. They've got their own storyline and everything. I think you've got to find 4 weapons of mass destruction or whatever, and you play as 2 other characters. It's a bit of a prequel to the single-player storyline.
Interesting.
Which I think is cool. But one of the things that I saw it do is that when playing the game, you'll see a silhouette, an outline of your character at some points. I was watching this during the gameplay. I'm like,
What?
what is it? It's almost like, you know how you play racing games and you see the ghost?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. And what that actually represents is, if you see that, that is the position that the enemy last saw you at.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's really weird, and I don't think I like it.
No, I would have to see how that worked.
Do you know what I mean? So if the enemy spots you, then your silhouette is left there. If you move.
Like the shadow from a nuke.
Yeah.
You know
What?
I'm talking about, do you?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, when nuclear bombs went off above Hiroshima, they actually left the shadows of some people burned in the wall because of the light. And I just kind of got that image of this like shadow being frozen in place.
Jesus, dude, not quite that full on, but
No, it's probably less nukey. Did you hear? Speaking of nukes, the last
yes, the survivor of Hiroshima and
yeah, he was in Hiroshima.
Yeah.
And it got bombed, and he went, "Holy shit, this sucked."
Yep.
So he went home to Nagasaki.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yes,
really.
it does. Sorry, that got bombed as well, just for anyone out there that
well,
didn't realize.
I think people know that.
Not everyone knows that.
People should. Everyone should know that.
They should know, but he's the only person officially recognized by Japan as being a survivor of 2 nuclear blasts as well. But that would suck. That's
I know.
Apparently, he actually went back to work once he got back to Nagasaki, and he bandaged up and everything like that. And
he told them what happened, and no one would believe him because
apparently,
it was nonsense.
when it went off, he was actually in a room talking to his boss about Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So
which I would think you would talk to people about.
It's a good story, you know. Oh, sorry, I'm late for work. Why? Nuclear explosion.
It's
kinda
a good story.
Yeah.
You're dismissing nuclear holocaust as a good story.
Not this. I'm just saying. It's when you get back to work. It's a good. Sorry, I'm late for work.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, there isn't much else to talk about from CSS, unfortunately.
CES, for Christ's sake.
CES. Do I keep saying CSS?
Yes, you do.
Sorry, I've been using that a lot lately.
Yes, because you're a web designer.
There is that.
There have been a few interesting accessories and so on as well. Probably the most interesting was Mad Catz have actually got a controller that's come out that's an Xbox 360 controller that actually has a working D-pad, which is kind of nice.
Okay.
Because the D-pad in the 360 controller, Mad Catz have done a really good. Was it Mad Catz or Razer? Or do Mad Catz make Razer?
No, they don't.
Shit. Well, it's a Razer pad. I know that much.
Okay.
So it must be, yeah. But apparently it's a really, really good controller and actually better than the existing controller. Okay. They're also a shitload of iPhone accessories.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day that when someone does an iPhone accessory that actually clicks over the top of the iPhone and it's a game controller.
Interesting. But it's possible, but it's difficult to do because they don't just
Blu-ray.
What?
Not Blu-ray, Bluetooth. It connect via Bluetooth.
Well, you can't even connect a freaking keyboard via Bluetooth, so I don't see why they'd be able to. No.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't realize that. Well, that idea might be going down the drain then.
Yes,
Never mind.
yes, it's a poor idea.
So anyway, moving on from CES.
Yeah. Just as a kind of segue to that, but not really into anything. Is that what will be really interesting is at the end of this month, at the start of next month, or possibly the end of this month, will be the announcement of Apple's new Slate device.
Are you sure?
Probably. That's apparently when it's been scheduled for. The 27th of January, I think, was when the keynote would announce it. This is just rumors at this point, but there's a lot of strong rumors.
I thought Slate was confirmed as something else, not from Apple.
No.
Okay. All right.
There's a lot of really strong rumors because Apple's been buying up the hardware and stuff to make it.
Right.
So
okay. All right. Well, that kind of is valid then.
So it's looking like they might be releasing something. Now, the reason I mention this here is because there's a lot of rumors that are suggesting it's looking at being a gaming platform.
Ooh.
Probably not dedicated like something like a DS or a PSP, but in the same way that the iPhone's been a surprisingly competent gaming platform.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd actually jump off the success of the iPhone and actually have the games on the Slate compatible with, or maybe that going for that level of game type.
It would be a halfway between. It would be better than the iPhone for games, but it would be not as good as the laptop. That's pretty much what we'd be getting at. But it would be touchscreen, so it would be really interesting to see what could be done with an RTS, with a bigger screen.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of brings that Ubisoft Ruse. Was that the one?
Yeah.
Kind of brings that kind of feeling to the fore.
Well, yeah, that would be an example, or quite a lot of other games, Command and Conquer and so on. It would be interesting to see.
No, there
what's
won't be
happening.
any more Command and Conquers. Command and Conquer 4 will be the conclusion to the series.
No, wasn't it the conclusion to that story arc? But
Yes,
not
there may be
necessarily
red
the series?
alerts, but that will be the last Command and Conquer 4 with that series.
Okay, whatever. But the point is, we'll be watching that with some interest.
Yeah, that'll be interesting actually. So when's that announced? Towards the end of this month or beginning of
Well,
next month?
I've heard-
Soon, basically.
See, I've heard the end of this month. I heard, in fact, specifically the 27th of January, but I'm not sure what's happening on that day. I
Right.
thought it might be Macworld, but Macworld is mid next month, so maybe someone got the day and it's wrong, and it should be that.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to find out. How many people actually get DLC, Matt?
It's interesting because we as gamers assume everybody's into the DLC and everyone buys the same
Downloadable
costume.
content, by the way, just in case.
Everyone who listens to our podcast knows what DLC
Maybe
is.
not. You never know. Well, maybe not. This is what we're trying to say. How many
Oh,
people
very
actually get
nice.
DLC? Yeah.
The question was asked
Yeah.
in a survey of 800 gamers.
800.
Yeah, it's not a huge survey.
No. Okay. All
But
right.
that's a reasonable amount of people.
Eh,
Yourself,
eh.
anyway. Basically, they found that only 15% of them had actually bought DLC. That only 15% of them actually knew what DLC was and
Yep.
had bought some, or knew some was available and had bought some.
Y-
Only 41% knew what it was but hadn't bought any, and 43% didn't know about it at all.
And you know what? I'd be tempted to say the 15% that did get DLC content, I would say that 90% of that would be for rhythm games.
You think? Yeah,
Yeah, I
probably
do.
true.
I do.
Yeah, SingStar as well.
Yeah.
SingStar, Guitar Hero, Rock Band.
Yeah, I do have to wonder how many people really do get DLC for a lot of the hardcore single player games. I mean, like your Borderlands or your Fallout 3 and all that kind of stuff. And the DLC downloadable content stuff is usually of a very good quality. I mean, even look at like the Grand Theft Auto 4 expansions and things like that. You know, Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost and Damned. They were games. They were standalone games, pretty much. You know, so it's not for lack of quality. It's just maybe just people don't feel like sinking more money into a game that they've already finished or played.
Yeah,
or...
I'm the opposite. I'm more lean towards I want a bit more out of this game. I want to play.
Yep.
Like games like Borderlands, for example, I have 2 sets of DLC now, which are apparently quite good. So
Yeah. I think the other issue is that with a lot of single player games, I mean, they have a single narrative that goes all the way through. You know, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end.
Yeah.
And DLC usually just adds
It tacks
additional
on a separate chapter.
Yeah, an additional area to explore, an additional something to do. It doesn't really extend the story of the game itself. It's
because you can't just
no.
Everyone dies in the end, and then you tack on a bit that goes.
Yeah, there's a DLC.
Oh, now you're exploring for sunken treasure. Like it doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah.
I think that what DLC does really work with, as you said, was the rhythm games. But I think part of the reason that works is because you get the content from within the game. You don't have to go onto some
to the marketplace,
marketplace or store or separate section to get it.
Yep.
So I think that
just curious with these stats, do we know what platform this is?
This is for all, and they were saying in the thing that it's possible that this also includes people who are on platforms that either have almost no content, such as the Wii.
I gotta say,
or the PS2 even.
I'm not really sold on these stats. They need more than 800 people, and for fuck's sake, they probably need to know what goddamn platforms they've got.
Well, they also need to not add up to 99%.
How much?
Because there's 1% missing. There's 15, 41, and 43, and that's 99%. Now, that's 15% are people who knew about it and bought it. 41 are people who knew about it and didn't buy it. 43 are people who didn't know about it and didn't buy it. I'd say the 1% is people who didn't know about it and bought it. But I'm not sure. Just somehow pressed random buttons and went, whoa, I've got a mission pack. But yeah, anyway.
That's awesome.
Hey, let's move on to God of War.
God of War 3, I know a lot of people out there were really concerned, especially after the Alien vs. Predator scare, that God of War 3, extremely, from the videos we've seen graphically, violent game. I mean, like,
Well, it's not just videos. I've played it as well, and I was
oh,
quite
is
startled. Yeah, I've
the
got it
demo?
on there.
You serious?
Yeah, it's not. You were watching me play it.
No, I wasn't. No, I was never watching you play it.
Okay, whatever.
I
Yeah,
want
it
to
is on
play
there.
it. I have to play it.
Well, it's just it's the demo.
Yes.
It's the beta demo thing. Yeah, I got access to it. I'm not
Okay.
sure how someone thought I was cool.
Right.
And it is like quite hideous. Like there's a scene. I'm sure everyone's seen it on YouTube. If you haven't, it's worth
It's the one where
looking
you
at.
rip
Just
the
to
head
see.
off, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
you fight a guy, and there's a cutscene or kind of quick time event to let you tear a guy's head off, and it's not just like chop off goes his
Comical
head.
sort of thing, yeah.
You actually tear his head slowly off. And apparently they built, Misty was telling us tonight that they actually built a special engine to handle the flesh tearing.
Can you imagine being the guy that made that
Yeah.
engine? What do you do? Well, I create the engine that simulates tearing flesh.
Yeah, oh, that's not wet enough. Like, yeah, it's
No, the tear is completely inaccurate. It needs to rip like this.
Yeah,
sort
now
of thing.
remember the sinews are going to be stronger than some
How
of
do
the
you-
muscle underneath.
How do you do research for that sort of thing? Does that creep you out?
Get a lot of
This is
goats or
what
something? I don't know.
I don't know. Do you reckon they'd sneak into the morgue sort of thing, grab a couple of bodies, and then sort of just, you know?
No, I doubt it.
Well, I mean,
really
how do you
doubt
read? You know?
You know what? I think you'd guess, because if anyone looks at it and goes, "That's not how you tear a head off," they're probably not your market anyway. You know, or there can't be that many.
They're
of
not.
them.
They're not really the ones you need to worry about.
No,
so.
they're not. Although you do worry about.
But
them.
it is graphically hideously violent,
Mm.
and the fact that it's been rated MA is, well, great, excellent, and all this kind of thing for all of us that do want to play it here in Australia.
It is a concern, though. I mean, this is not a children's
I
game.
think the point when we as gamers, adult gamers, look at a game and go, "Ooh, that's a bit much." That's surely that is cause for concern that this MA rating 18 debacle is just fucked.
Yeah, well, there's a problem with that. I don't know. I mean, it's not that it's just an adult game. I'm not sure it's a children's game. Someone was also telling me that they built a special engine for Alien vs Predator to handle disembowelment.
Oh, fantastic!
So it's an entrail engine.
Yeah, it's
which
good.
Is pretty
It's
cool.
good for developers that want to specialize in these particular niche
Indeed.
markets. Yeah. So we're actually going to wrap up the podcast. We're getting to the half-hour mark, and we're dedicated to actually running a podcast on time these days, if at all possible. But one last topic that I wanted to briefly talk about is the Mana Bar, which is, I'm going to say it, the world's first dedicated next-gen console gaming bar.
You sound like you're doing a lot of qualification, like you've looked
I
into
feel
it,
like-
and it only is that if you discount.
Look, put it this way. I feel proud of the fact that we've definitely got a venue that's a first.
Yeah.
Because if there was anywhere else that did something like what we're doing, we would have found it. Because my
Right.
God, it would have been amazingly helpful to see someone else do it, and we can go, oh, that's how they, handled the issue of Wii controllers not being stolen. All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can sort that out. But there isn't.
Yeah.
There's similar venues. There's bars that have arcade machines in them. There's venues that have booths that have sports-based games on consoles and sports bars. There's your Japanese, very
All right, move
kitsch
on.
sort of areas over in
There
Japan.
aren't ones like this.
There we go. Anyway, the Mana Bar is. We've finally started the PR push for it. It's going to be opening late February in Fortitude Valley, Brisbane, Australia. It's operated by myself and my friends Yahtzee, Praz, and Shay. And yeah, you'll be able to go there, play 360, PS3, Wii games, and have a lot to drink.
Yug made it clear who's involved, and I just wanted to say, to clarify, that I am not involved.
I
in
know
this.
you keep having to clarify. Do you feel like you're like, I really want to clarify how not involved I am?
Because people keep asking me how's the bar, and my response is I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Basically.
Do you really not care?
No, of course I care, and it'll be good, and I'm as interested in as anyone else in going there and in hanging out there, because it's literally downstairs from me.
This is true.
But yeah, I just wanted to let people know that I'm not involved, so don't.
I just
ask
thought
me.
you wanted to distance yourself from it in case it's a massive failure.
No,
or something.
I want to distance myself in case it's a massive success.
Oh, there
I
we
think.
go.
The reason I'm not involved is quite simple. It's nothing personal. I just had nothing to offer.
Oh.
Well, I didn't. I have no bar experience, no business experience.
Me
No
neither.
time and no money.
Me neither. Oh my god, we're exactly the same.
And it was not my idea.
There we
which
go.
is about
There's
all
the
you could
difference.
contribute.
But anyway, check it out at manabar.com.au or follow the Twitter or join the Facebook, and we'll keep you updated. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning into the Australian Gamer Show. We'll talk to you again next week.
Nice talking to you. Bye, guys.